Alright, this video is going to be called Reset Hollywood, It's Time for a Renaissance. The downfalls and failures of modern popery. And I want to talk mainly about how we all deserve a renaissance, and the people of Hollywood who have been acting as spiritual advisors and almost like holy, sacred people have led us astray, led us down the wrong path, and are the biggest hypocrites out there in the history of time. The people that they are getting their strings pulled by remain a little bit unknown, but either way, Hollywood of late, in the past many years, have shown us that they need to be taken down and a renaissance needs to be put in its place. Now, I firmly believe that we all are capable of transcending the political spectrum and putting it in its place, and only really giving it the time it deserves when it's necessary. However, these Hollywood celebrities have chosen to become public political figures as well, so they are able to be basically contended because they are putting their influence forward to using their voice and their creative power that they've been granted and given by whatever sinister means to convey a certain political message and really divide and spread hate and do all this nasty stuff, when all in all we are all friends. I firmly believe this. Everybody that I see, no matter whether I'm in a city or a suburb or anywhere, I see friends around me. Everybody I look at, I smile at, they smile back. If an interaction occurs, it's always a beautiful thing. I always learn something. People are beautiful. We are not as divided and as hate-filled and as racist and just crazy as the media makes us out to be. In fact, they are the ones that are that. They are reflecting themselves in us, and I have had enough. We have all had enough. We are all friends. They can remain enemies of us, but we are all friends with each other, and we are billions strong around the world. And it's time for a renaissance. I've had enough. And this book I found from the 1835s goes into some amazing things that shows just time really hasn't changed. And I'm going to read this to you here now. Check this out. Every account from Europe attests the correctness of the views here taken more than a year since of the political state of the civilized world. This war of opinions, or of categories, as Lafayette termed it, is in truth commenced, and Americans, if they will but use common observation, cannot but feel that a neglect to notice and provide against the consequences of that settled, systematic hostility to free institutions, so strongly manifested by foreign powers, celebrities, and which is daily assuming a more serious aspect, will inevitably result in mischief to the country, will surely be attended with anarchy, if they wake not to the apprehension of the reality of this danger. Americans, you indeed sleep upon a mine. This is scarcely a figure of speech. You have excitable materials in the bosom of your society, which, skillfully put in action by artful demagogues, will subvert your present social system. You have a foreign interest too, daily, hourly increasing, ready to take advantage of every excitement, and which will shortly be beyond your control, or will be subdued only by blood. You have agents among you, men in the pay of those very foreign powers, whose every measure of foreign and domestic policy has now for its end and aim the destruction of liberty everywhere. To increase your peril, you have a press that will not apprise you of the dangers that threaten you. We can reach you with our warnings only through the religious journals. The daily press is blind, or asleep, or bribed, or afraid. At any rate, it is silent on this subject, and thus is throwing the weight of its influence on the side of your enemies. Foreign spies have clothed themselves in a religious dress, and so awestruck are our journalists at its sacred texture, or so unable or unwilling to discern the difference between the man and his mask, that they start away in fear, lest they should be called bigoted or intolerant or persecuting, if they should venture to lift up the consecrated cloak that hides a foreign foe. Americans, if you depend on your daily press, you rely on a broken reed. It fails you in your need. It dare not attack popery. It dare not drag into the light the political enemies of your liberty, because they come in the name of religion. All despotic Europe is awake and active in plotting your downfall, and yet they let you sleep, and you choose not to be awakened. A little more sleep, a little more slumber, a little more folding of the hands to sleep. The author even quotes Shakespeare at one point, and he says, "We hear this fearful tempest sing, yet seek no shelter to avoid the storm. We see the wind set sore upon our sails, and yet we strike not, but securely perish. We see the very wreck that we must suffer, and unavoided is the danger now, for suffering so the causes of our wreck. So we're basically saying that we're seeing this all happen. Everybody's seeing it happen, and we're not doing enough about it. We really aren't. And there's another quote later on that refers to an old general who said, "We must for the next 100 years give no rest in order to destroy this force that tries to basically take our liberties." And they are coming in the form of celebrities. They come in the form of religious leaders. They come from all over, and their puppet masters, the people pulling their strings, never really get seen. But they're there, you can bet that, and they are definitely making their presence felt in all aspects of culture, and it really has to change, and we're the ones that really need to change it. And so this says that a secret enemy, an artful foreign enemy, has stolen in among us, joining his foreign accents to swell the uproar, that he may make less suspicion do his nefarious work. Like incendiaries of a conflagration, they even cry fire the loudest. And this is totally seen in the culture that we see in these people. And one of the absolute leaders of popery and demagoguery, despotism, is this woman, Hillary Clinton, who in this famous speech where she called people a basket of deplorables, also called everyone irredeemable. So this woman, who has done more despicable things than can ever be mentioned in any length of YouTube video, called more than half of the country irredeemable. She used her popery to basically, just like they did in the 1830s and a lot earlier, she acted basically saying that all of us were unable to attain God, heaven in the afterlife. Is that what she meant by irredeemable? That when we meet our Maker, we are going to be no longer accepted by them because of our actions? Meanwhile, this woman, if you do any research, you can find a lot. And this is another example of Hollywood popery. And not many people remember this, but back in the time when Obama was pushing basically a Syrian war on the American people and was trying to justify it, one of his methods was to record a false sex tape with Alyssa Milano, which he spread like wildflower, like, oh, a leaked sex tape. And then right when they're about to get into the supposed action, they click the camera over, and there's this freak telling everybody in the American people that they should be all about a war. I fast forwarded and rewinded, so they kick it just like that right over, and this guy just goes on for a couple minutes on how America needs a war in Syria. And this was what our government was using in combination with Hollywood to preach the deaths of many thousands of people. And this was happening in the previous administration, not the current one. And stuff like this happened a long time. So who's pulling the strings of Hollywood and the government in those former cases? And Ricky Gervais came the other day, a couple weeks ago, and just leveled people. And a lot of people claim that he's on the left or right or whatever. I don't care what political side he's on. He decimated some dirty people who have been getting a lot of false praise, a lot of popery, a lot of just unnecessary respect, when they are just dirty and sinister at heart, to the core, and have been for most of their lives. They may have made some funny movies and may have made you laugh, but they are terrible. And Ricky Gervais told everyone right to their face, and he really set Hollywood ablaze. He set the world ablaze. The entire people and consumer public of the internet world were ready to hear someone like this defector from the common crap. And this lady preached a lot of nasty stuff, and I'm not going to go into her pro-abortion statement, but I do want to warn people that, when you have a voice going out to millions and you're preaching the death of unborn babies, you have a lot of karma to pay for, because a lot of people are going to make decisions based on what you said. And this shows how the public reacted to her forced thing, which the media was fawning over. Oh my God, what a hero, blah, blah, blah. And this is how the world reacted to Ricky Gervais. A nice, steady, volcanic eruption of popularity. And it was amazing. It's telling. There is a market for this. There is an industry for people like this, for defectors. They need to come out all over the place. Even because of the impeachment, one of the Democrats basically was a defector and became a Republican, transferred parties. All these people, they are just dirty, and they've been just put on a high horse, put on a pedestal for all of us, to our children, to us as children, for so long. It's time it comes crashing down. And these people just, you know, he called out everyone, the big businesses, the celebrities, the climate change people, the people who talk about guns, you know, everything. All these people don't deserve to have a political agenda any more powerful than your own. They're making all this money, and they are the absolute definition of hypocrites. They say that our country can't be guarded, but yet they guard their homes and they guard themselves every day with full weapons, full armies of basically protectors at all times because they're scared. But yet the woman down the street has no right to protect herself and her child from any crime that might ensue in a city that these people don't care about. These people don't care about anything. I don't even know who this lady is, but that house is massive. You know, these people are on a different scale than the normal billions of everyday people. The people in Calcutta, the people in anywhere, Nigeria, Kenya, the people in South America. They're all not like these people. These people only speak for themselves, and that's it. Thank God. There's even books written about these people. They are a mess, and they need to be eradicated. And Rand Paul has a lot of good things to say. I love this guy. He's one of those few that has a great heart, great soul, great spirit, and is ready for positive change in the world. And he says a lot of great things. I really stand with Rand, and I always have. He's a great man, good family too. But the Hollywood hypocrisy is just absolutely disgusting. In any other field, these people would have zero effect on the public at all, and they shouldn't. Their opinions mean nothing. I'd rather hear the opinion of a snail that walked down the street, or a praying mantis I saw last week, than any of these people, and I respect them more. They just lie to everyone. They do disgusting things behind their backs, you know, allegedly, but there's a lot of cases that seem to it, and they just seem compromised in the way that they act, in the hatred that they spew towards the American people. And these people were granted the miracle of obtaining a voice that can reach out to millions of people. That is an absolutely unbelievable gift to achieve, and these people don't really deserve that at all. The messages that they're spreading are not love-filled in any way. If you gave me the voice to speak to millions of people, that would be a lot different. The things I would say would be nothing but beautiful. It would be try very hard to be a complete role model and not a dirty, nasty hypocrite. This is a perfect example. All kinds of great, nice people all over the world try to do their part by collecting their dog's poop and not leaving it in nature, which is natural, kind of, but instead they just tie a plastic bag to nature and it just disintegrates. It takes forever to disintegrate. It's a great everyday example of the hypocrisy that I won't be included in this, but a lot of people are suffering from. And you know, they just preach their climate change things. It's their new religion. Yet they let people right next to them just go down the tubes and lead them astray instead of trying to build them up and help them out. Another great example of this hypocrisy was the Dakota Access Pipeline protests, which were towards the end of the last president's reign, and these people left millions of dollars worth of cleanup necessary, but they were supposed to be there complaining about other people destroying the environment, and they just ravaged it without even a care, and they left it all just, who cares? Stuff could have blown all over the place in the wind. Really disgusting. You know, hypocrisy is a disgusting trait. And this is another clear example of it, where Obama's EPA destroyed the Animas River, an ancient pure river in New Mexico, and destroyed by EPA's just terrible decisions, poor leadership, poor everything, and probably intentional. Who knows? But it destroyed ancient clear water, which is pathetic. And speaking of rivers, they don't make celebrities like they used to, like this guy was, who I believe was taken out, and we'll go into him later because I am going to dedicate a video to him. He was a musical genius at an incredibly young age and rose in a very beautiful way as a vegan activist. He was anti a lot of things, a lot of pollution before they were cool. He basically made it cool. He was an amazing musician. His band Alaka's Addict came out during the time of like Red Hot Chili Peppers and used to jam with Flea and stuff, but he was far superior. I think a lot of people actually stole ideas from him, music from him. He was just a pure genius. He was what Hollywood should be. He's an example of what a Renaissance Hollywood role model should be. And I will go into him later, but do your research, watch his movies. Just a pure, amazing soul who was given some crazy things in life, and he did the very best with it until the end when I believe he was sabotaged. He would not have done what they claim he did. And the media, again, was just acting terribly. So again, back to this book. I want to show some examples of this. This is amazing. So I love looking at the table of contents of these books because it really gives a good definition of what you'll find in here, and I suggest you all kind of check this book out. But what you'll really see is a very strong parallel between then and now, and how there's always seems to be a force of some people in power that use their names, their titles, their potpourri they call it, their articles, their names, whatever, in the media. They glorify them, and then it changes public perspective and gives people a lot bigger a voice than they really deserve. So this refers to potpourri as a political system despotic in its organization, anti-democratic and anti-republican, and cannot therefore coexist with American republicanism. The ratio of increase of potpourri is the exact ratio of decrease of civil liberty. The dominance of potpourri in the United States is the certain destruction of our free institutions. And it really is. And all these people are really promoting it. They promote these agendas that are really against the will of the people and do things to harm the people, give more risk and like the potential of potential threats to the people. They just haven't had the people in mind for a long time in these governments and these political systems. And the people at the helm of it are, you know, like the foreign coalitions and all these other Bilderbergs and people that are just trying to make this not-so world occur, and it completely goes against what humanity deserves and wants. And so this talks about the mask thrown aside, and how I guess there was one, I recommend reading all these, but they showed one story in Boston with a convent that where one of the nuns, or like this convent was found to have tortured and abducted a young girl. And so when people in the town went to confront the convent, the nun said, "I will have 20,000 troops of the European armies come down on you all if you even slightly threaten this convent or me again." And so then the 20,000 people basically burnt the place down, I believe. And that happened in Boston in the early 1800s. And so it talks about all these kind of like these different instances in time where just, you know, the people rise up, and I don't recommend burning anything, but we can win with a renaissance. And there's different, like, you know, acknowledging this threat is here, and boycotting Hollywood, or just I don't like boycotts necessarily, but not allowing their influence to be felt by any of us is extremely important. These people do not deserve their voices that they've been given, and we really can only take it away by not watching their movies, not listening to them, not looking at their Twitter, not interacting with them, just ignoring them. They deserve it. And so, you know, take the Hollywood sign down, bring up a renaissance, and this has in no way reflect to the fires. Those are a whole nother story entirely. This is just Hollywood needs to be rebuilt in the form of much better ideals with the people in mind. And you can see it, like I said, Ricky Gervais set off a tirade of thought, and it's, you know, that speaks to the people. The success of what he said really speaks to the people, and these are people outside a Trump rally in Toledo, and it's just in a massive amount of people. And on the other side, they can't even come close to fitting like a portion of these. Like, they don't attract any of this attention. This is the will of the people. The people really can rise up and change and do things and create a renaissance. All these people here are all friends. We are all friends. If this was on the other side, another line just as big, we should all be friends. We have so much more in common, or like, you know, than our differences in political opinions. And a lot of the stuff is theater, so to get really to make it a big important part of your life is just futile. There's no need for it, but together we can all find the linkage and really exist together. And Renaissance brings all parties together, transcending politics, transcending hate, division, anarchy, all this racism and all these like lies, you know, and really embracing our fellow brother no matter what color they are, what spiritual path they've decided, what gender they choose, and all of these different things. A Renaissance means that we all coexist beautifully together, and that the government works for us, and they work for us to do what's best. And I've been thinking more about Renaissance times lately and the power of creativity, and I'm going to go into this in another video. And we all believe in certain things and have the freedom to create And I feel that back in the Renaissance time, maybe that's what it was all about. You know, they had these free energy systems, so power, maybe they did everything in their power to basically allow for everybody to live a creative life. Every single person in society to live a spiritual, creative, free life, free to do whatever they want. And that's how a Renaissance forms. You know, when you don't have to think about the electricity bill, all these things are kind of have been solved. The universe has ways of providing all these things: proper food, proper shelter, proper even danger management and natural disaster management, you know, sewage. There's ways to do all this and be clean and be normal and be smart. And there's ways to be to create art and be positive and transcend the political spectrum, go for the divine, really encourage everybody to seek their true human potential. I say that a lot, but it's what we all need. These celebrities that are kind of making us all tear each other apart, making family dinners like obnoxious, you know, this is just not what we are as humans. And we're following the lead of these junkies in Hollywood, and they need to be eviscerated from the public sphere. People need to discern what's right and who is right and who's worthy of acknowledgement and respect, and really dedicate it to that. And I believe that all nations, you know, should preserve their cultural integrity, their sovereignty. Every single human is a unique vessel and should preserve their freedom. And if we all work together for this, the rich, the poor, everyone, we can just be united under this miracle. That you don't have to be rich to be happy. You just have to be happy and healthy. And may everybody be blessed with all the miracles of the universe. I think there is a developing unity and a growing unity in all of us people who are not, you know, super well off, where we are now realizing that these people, these liars, cannot be trusted. Nothing they can say can be trusted, and we have to carve out our own path, our own future creative world, and our own future leaders and people we listen to and people we respect, and on the radio, TV, and all forms of media. We have to create our own new media. There has to be solutions for doing this. The market is clearly there, and the amount of people are clearly there as well. It's just the media that's suppressing this incredible amount of people that are really wanting this all over the world. Everybody wants to live happy and use their freedoms to raise a family and do what they deserve to be able to do. No one should tell us more or less what we should be doing. We should be deciding it on our own in accordance with the laws of nature and respect for fellow man. One of the first steps that we need to take, and there are many, is just to break the psychological control they have, where they think that, you know, they make us think that the end of the world is coming. We fear everything. We have to break that. We have to break their influence entirely and really think positively. Like, instead of saying, oh, that can never be done, or oh, there's no way this world's going to change, we can never heal this place, oh, blah, blah, and just giving up. That negative attitude pervades everything. Every TV show, every movie, everything. Everyone wants to just give up. We cannot. We have to drive ourselves, our friends, our everybody towards a renaissance. When we all believe in it, that it's possible, we can fully achieve it 100%. I know this for a fact. There are way more of us than there are of them, and our intentions are in line with the universe and the beauty and the miracles of everything. We are the future Renaissance masters, and it's time to bring back what we deserve, that realm of existence that we all deserve and that we once had that they tried to make us forget. We will bring it back and restore it. Bless you all. Peace to everyone.